Hey beautiful people, welcome back. I'm Dr. Bundi, the wellness doctor. I make videos on mental health and I'm passionate about people healing from their past and from their trauma. So today's video is a continuation of last week's video. Well, not last week, you guys will probably see this 2 weeks after I shot the first video. So it's a continuation about demystifying what exactly therapy is. So the first half of the video, we were talking about who is a therapist, psychologist, psychiatrist, counselor, all that stuff. So I lost the second half of my video. So I'm just going to do a sit down. Connie is not here with me today, obviously. So today we'll be talking about what to expect from your first therapy session. So most people don't really understand what happens during therapy. And so I kind of just wanted to give you guys 5 things to expect when you start your first therapy session. So let's go. The first thing you need to know if you're starting therapy is the first session might not feel like miraculous or like some groundbreaking healing is going to happen in the first session. Like, that's just the truth of it, because the first session is a meet and greet between you and your therapist. So it's a chance for you to get to know who this person is and for them to also get to know who you are. So a few tips for the first meeting is just keep your expectations at like a minimum, and interview your therapist. So this is the point where you need to find out, what are your therapist's qualifications? What do they specialize in? Are they good with grief, divorce? Like, what's their specialty? So that even from the beginning, if it's not in tune with what you're there for, then you can just be like, okay, this, by the way, might not work. Find out what are the qualifications, because at the end of the day, there are so many quacks out there. Qualifications, techniques, what techniques do they use? Because some people might be tough love approach, others might be, kind of like, they might cuddle you a bit. So ask them questions. It's not just your therapist asking you questions. From the therapist side, they might ask you things about your past. They might ask you about your relationships. They might ask about your career, just general questions. The second thing you should expect from your therapy session is that you might need to sign an agreement that basically talks about confidentiality. So your therapist should not go talking about your things out there, your stories, your experiences. It should not be something that they're going out there to talk about. However, there is a caveat to this confidentiality agreement. If your therapist feels like you are a danger to yourself, they can break that, they legally can break the confidentiality. So if you're a danger to yourself or a danger to others, for example, if you tell your therapist, I think I want to kill my wife, that's obviously not information she's just going to, jot down on a piece of paper and let you move on. They might need to speak to the authorities or a supervisor, any kind of thing like that. So confidentiality. The third thing to expect from therapy is that it's a collaborative effort. So it's not when you go for therapy, it's not your therapist handing you down answers to your questions. Yeah, they're not there to fix your life. It's you come up with a solution. So what the therapist does is they try to equip you with skills and tools on how to cope. They try to deal with your negative thinking patterns, but it's not them. They should not say, I think you should do A, B, C, D. The answers have got to come from you at the end of the day. The fourth thing to expect from therapy is that it's a timed session. So this is a really controversial thing, and you'll find that some people get really offended when you tell them, okay, so your session is up, let's wrap it up, I'll see you next week. Because at the end of the day, it's a timed session. It's not, the therapist is not being rude for calling time out, yeah? Typically, they're supposed to be 45 minutes to 1 hour, depending on the therapist. So if your therapist calls time, it's not an offensive thing. And here's the thing, when you're sharing and you're in a session, there's also emotional fatigue. So you cannot talk about your situations in life and your pain and your heart for like 2-3 hours. It's also not healthy for you, and that's why it's timed. And it's also timed for the therapist, because they also need to refresh and regroup. So you can't stay with one particular patient for so long. Like, it's not healthy for either one of you. Yeah. Of course, it shouldn't be like a rude timeout, like you're mid-sentence, or you're like crying, and then somebody just says, okay, it's over, like, we're done. See you next week. You know, it shouldn't be rude, but of course, it has to be timed at the end of the day. Those are the 5 things to expect from therapy. So I'll just end it with, how do you know if it's been a successful first visit? So a successful first therapy session is whereby you establish a therapeutic relationship. So what this means is you should feel like you and your therapist have formed a connection. You should feel like they understand you, like that they're on your team. So that's how you know, okay, this is a good first session. How do you know if a first session has failed? Is if first and foremost you leave there feeling judged, you feel like they're not on your side, you feel criticized, or if you feel like they just were not listening, they were just, like writing, or literally you just leave there feeling like, okay, this person was not listening to me. That's how you know, okay, maybe I shouldn't. I would advise you, if you leave there feeling like that, you should probably seek a second opinion. So again, I really hope this video has been helpful. I'm so grateful for you guys, for your love and your support, and I will be back with another video. And please remember to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment below to just let me know how I'm doing, and let me know what more you'd like to see from this channel. And I am super grateful. I will see you guys next time. Bye.